Hello everyone, Mankey here, and it is 11:17 p.m. on the 28th night of September 2025. We are officially 17 days onto the Worlds. And welcome everybody to another episode of Chasing China. Unfortunately, this is the saddest part of the entire episode and pretty much the saddest part of the entire series because this is also the last. As we all know, every single team has already qualified for Worlds. All the teams have won their championships. All the matches are finished. Of course, we have EMEA Masters coming up, but I don't think many people care about EMEA Masters nor, Tier 2 leagues and much. So for now, we got a lot of days until the Worlds, of course, and I wanted to say a huge thank you to all the people who are viewing this channel, viewing this entire series, of course, talking about League of Legends, analyzing newsworthy of all kinds of stuff. So even though you're not watching the thing, me doing this thing and me doing it long term is making me proud. And I'd like to thank each and one of all of you. And let's just strive for even better. And I also wanted to thank you for the 40 subscribers. This channel, I was so much like trying to figure out which kind of thing I wanted to do, whether I want to do a sports channel, which is pretty much my thing because I love sports and all kinds of stuff, or just keep doing league. I have two things on my hand, league or sports, and it's kind of tough. And I decided to stick to league, and it got me to where I am today. 40 subscribers, and I got a couple, of course, in TikTok, but despite the fact it's small, despite the fact it's not much like your David Shinox or your Miss Chim Chims of the world or your Double Lifts, I am proud to have this channel being up and running for your League of Legends content. And you know what? Because of you, we have come through. Now, my next goal is to get to 50 subscribers, maybe by the end of the year or maybe by the end of maybe next year, of course. So that's a huge, huge goal. But because of you and because of my effort and hard work, we made it through. So thank you for that. So now it is time for us to start with some pretty happy news. This is not clickbait, This is not clickbait, everybody. This is actually the real deal. Just announced during the LTA finals, and yes, Akeem, that will be the last time you get to hear the words LTA in probably this channel or every channel from the next. Until pretty much historical stuff. But after the debacle was the LTA, Riot decided to wipe their hands clean and realizing their mistake and decided, let's give them their brands back. In fact, let's give them their brands as independent, which means that LCS and CBLOL are back for next year, 2026, and will be fully independent. No more LTA bullshit. This is the greatest news of all time. It is pretty much the greatest thing to ever happen, and it's because of you. Mr. David Shynock, you deserve my thanks. You deserve my thanks for calling me in. In fact, not just me, but all the people that calling in talking about their grievances about the LTA. And let's be honest, it's not just you who have been disagreeing with the LTA being bad. It's like virtually every single person that's been disagreeing with all this. Travis Gafford, and I cannot barely name, but let's be honest, virtually everybody disagreed with it. Even Double Lift, the most mentally ill man, even disagree with this whole thing. So on pretty much the weekend of pretty much like the biggest tournament ever with, let's be honest, a predictable final, to be honest. They decided to split the brands again. It is now LCS, CBLOL for the rest of the year, and I cannot be glad. I will have some bad news though. I will have some bad news. But we need to read this down there. So the LCS, CBLOL, and the LLA, of course, we all do the merges and all kinds of stuff, and they decided that the LCS and CBLOL will be merging will be split and will have their brands back for 2026. It is said, now after a year of ensuing fan outcry, this controversial change is no more, as was supported by Joko from the Sheep Esports. And even, he even confirmed it on his video, by the way. And unfortunately, and with all of these happenings, Travis Gabbard, Liam Butcher, the journalist who actually covers CBLOL and all kinds of stuff, and The reason, and of course, the reason for it is that the flagship tournament have not done well within, viewership. I will get to my gripes later. And unfortunately, they've been struggling with high peaks of the past year, with CB law numbers have been going up and all kinds of stuff. And they realize, hey, let's just fuse these two regions together and see if we can numbers it up. And spoiler alert, it did not work out. Now, of course, Riot Games decided did not decline to comment. And unfortunately, Mark Z emphasized the move will not only restore the brand, but also reestablish in independent leagues. So, just simple FYI, LCS and CB law was back. But I was watching David's video, by the way. I watched David's video and David's short, and I 100% agree with him. Now, of course, this weekend, tonight, and a couple minutes in the morning, of course, we'll be talking about the games. We'll be talking about the games. We'll be talking about the League of Legends, as we should do that. It's supposed to be a celebration of all things League. That will be the main focus of this channel, or this, this entire episode. But tomorrow night, I will do my state of LCS. By the way, I'll probably record a state of LCS tonight. Sorry, I got mixed up. Tomorrow night, in a couple of hours, of course, I will be doing my state of LCS. And I will be talking about all the things that have been gone wrong for the LTA this entire year, and realize it's not the players' fault. Well, mostly the players have not done social media and all kinds of stuff. This is something that has been dealt with at the top. So while I celebrate this incredible change, I expect more of this. I expected more of these things as the months and weeks goes on. I expect people who are in charge of this thing to be fired. And I'm not talking fired out of the cannon or something, but actually fired out of the cannon, indeed. But being let go and should never even touch the product ever again. I want high schoolers to be involved in this whole thing. I want more teams to be involved in this, online and all kinds of stuff. But that is for tomorrow night when I get my LCS state message to be across. But for now, this is all about the league. This is all about the players, and this is all about celebrating the league. And if you have some gripes, go attack Riot. And I'm not talking about, attacking Riot with like machetes and all kinds of stuff, but more like vocally attack Riot. But I keep their families. Oh, who cares? Who cares? What you have done, Riot, and I'll say this for Monday, but what you have done, Riot, is probably the worst, most brain dead decisions you have ever made in your entire life. Like, it's the worst brain decision you ever have. This is the Billy Madison quote of, I reward you, nope, you have made, well, I can't reward you with no points, by the way, but you have made this entire room of League of Legends community fans, who, by the way, are still ill-mental sometimes, not all of them, but still ill-mental, pretty much even more mentally dumb as it always should be. And unfortunately, this whole LTA thing was an absolute black stain on your part, Riot. And it's not just the branding. It is the formats, it is the people being involved, it is the whole 9 yards. All of this to try and raise viewership, which, by the way, spoiler alert, it did not work out. It did not work out. So, that is a little preview of what you expect come tomorrow night when I addressed all these things in my State of LCS message. For now, celebrate this little moment, celebrate the LCS and CBLOL being officially back. I wish I would clap, but it is late at night, so I cannot do that. Just a little golf clap. Unfortunately for the Americans, sadly, they did not even get a golf clap right now. Congratulations to the Europeans, by the way, winning the Ryder Cup. Really close one. I was thinking, oh my goodness, the Europeans will crush the Americans. Well, no, they did fight back. It was a close one until the end, and Europeans hold on. So, yeah, that's some little golf stuff. Onwards to the one and only LTA Championship, which, thank God, we don't have to talk about. I said this is the last time I mentioned about the LTA, and I will do that, but it is time to put this sucker to bed once and for all. And to the surprise of absolutely sadly no one, Flyquest won the whole thing. Yeah, I don't think, I just, let's be honest, it was never a close series, to be honest. I mean, the only thing that makes this sad is the fact that Vivakins did not bad, throughout the entire tournament, but also did this to 100 Thieves. I was watching the entire matchup with, of course, David, of course, on this Twitch stream, and trust me, I say this. VVK plays great. VKS played fantastic League of Legends. And listen, while my praises go out to VKS, and trust me, they earned the praises. They played fantastically well that day. They were solid. They were incredible. They showed no fear. This had to go to 100 Thieves. You robbed us of a potential Dokula versus Whippo finals, and not you probably handed Flyquest the platter. Although you could say that Flyquest would have won this tournament anyways. Let's be honest, even if it was 100 Ds or VKS, but you literally robbed us of a pretty good final. You literally robbed us of probably the one good thing that might, I'm not saying save the LTA because it's already dead already, but pretty much feel like it gives them at least something to hold on to from this disaster, and we didn't get it, and it sucks. And unfortunately for them, this is what happens when you got two players who've been playing so great, looking absolutely shaky as F. River and Quid are just not it, man. They just not look great, especially River, which is pretty much thinking about retirement right now. He's thinking retirement at that match. He was not it. The whole team, 100 Thieves team, was not it. Now, again, I was going to shout and say you lost to Brazil and saying you're absolute douchebags and you deserve to get every ridiculed, but heed my words, let me tell you, Akeem. Heed my words. I was never expecting 100 Thieves to even make it to Worlds, let alone be in the stage, for God's sakes. Have they would have lost in any point of the season or any point of the split, they would have lost in the LCS studio or in the closet, for God's sakes. Like, that would be worse if 100 Thieves' final game would be in the closet. Ugh, that's not it. The fact you actually managed to make it to the stage final in Texas is amazing for them. The fact you even made it to a top 3 finish and make it to Worlds, it's amazing. And they deserve all the praise. Dokula, of course, did an interview, of course. He was so classy, of course, in an interview. The fact that Dokula came in, and let's be honest, he came in to coach Sniper, realizing that Sniper was not good, and then decided to replace Sniper, and then, all the hoopla and all kind of stuff, the problems. And then he stepped up. Brother Dokula stepped up. And, hats off to this guy. He was, for probably reason why 100 Ds were put in this space. You can say FBI, have a little bit of hand. Quid, who before the matchup, VKS was all absolutely solid. He was probably my first all team if I were to vote, of course. So, you got to say 100 Thieves, despite the loss and despite the embarrassment to themselves. Nobody, and I mean nobody, was expecting the 100 Thieves to even do well. It sucks that we never got the 100 Thieves Flyquest final that I wanted. But you got to tip your hat to VKS, who played brilliantly in that matchup against 100 Thieves. Nothing to shake. Listen, VKS played it out of their minds. They played out of their minds, and they deserved their win, and they deserved their flowers and all kinds of stuff. And then, of course, unfortunately for Flyquest, they got beat. And the one game they actually won was when Inspired, the MVP, did not have a great Skarner game. Like, he did not play great on Skarner at all. And as we look beyond the series, by the way, this was a Flyquest first win. It was an absolute domination, an absolute fisting, 19-4. Quad Masu was on the heater with a Corky, 12-1-5. Oof. Then game 2, we look at game 2, by the way. And this was a almost 30-minute game, which was a teetering game, of course, a little bit back and forth. And then Flyquest take it to the mile and make it almost a 30-minute game, 18-5. And 2-0-15 assists on Masu, on Senna, scaling Senna, of course. Whippo, we criticize Whippo personally sometimes. I've already beat him to a dead horse. But he was good. He was good. And he was brilliant on Rebessa with a 9-kill performance, 2-5, of course. The third game was pretty much the ultimate stinker by Inspired. It was up. Listen, Inspired, no. Inspired, no. No more Skarner games. Just no. Just absolutely no. He did not do well. His coordination was not great. No. No, 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 no. Credit to Miro, who was brilliant on Akali, who was his signature Akali, by the way. He played Akali really well. He knows that Akali stuff, and he was brilliant. But no, 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 no. Game 4, it was a kind of close-ish kind of match, but once fought, and it was, once again, the Whippo show. Say a little about Whippo personally sometimes, but when we get in-game Whippo, sometimes he can be locked on 8, 3, and 5, closing out the series, of course, and pulled on his Superman cape to carry Flyquest to a victory. I don't know who the MVP of that series was. I think I'm gonna look at who's the MVP. Let's see who was MVP. It's Busio. Okay, I think Busio deserved MVP. He was 15 assists on the on the Bard. All right, he was brilliant. I think Busio was brilliant. He was my MVP, of course. He was absolutely instrumental for that team's victory. And FlyQuest, to be honest, was pretty much like the best team all year. Although you can say that, like a certain team in Korea later on, they stumbled in the first part of the series, and then of course they rev it up and rev it up and rev it up towards being the best team in all of the Americas. And you know what? They earned that title. They've earned that title, and now they're going to Worlds as probably the number one team in Americas. The the only thing that I can say about them is can you beat an Asian team? That is the one thing that has been plaguing this FlyQuest legacy for years. Is that can they be the Asian team? Nobody was expecting them to do well against Gen G, and they nearly did. And everybody in Vancouver, including myself, thought they can beat BLG. And they choked, especially in Game 5. So, I think they can do fine in Swiss if the draw goes well. And if they can manage to go into quarterfinals, which I think that's the goal, of course. The goal is trying to get to quarterfinals. And if they can get an Asian team, let's say a top esports or something, I expect them to beat them. I expect them to beat them, and it will be an historical moment for them, and it'll be a historical moment for NA, because let's be honest, NA is having a little bit of a hard time right now. I mean, they just got their brand back, and it's just feel like they're not happy. So they just needed something, anything, to get some good vibes, of course. A la last year when, the LCS died and FlyQuest did well. So we need FlyQuest to get back to good vibes. Maybe 100 Ds, but I just don't know 100 Ds are doing well, of course. I just don't know. Consider this is the last split. Nobody was expecting them to do well. The fact they make it to Worlds is incredible, although you can say that Team Liquid and Cloud9 being absolutely crap in their matches against 100 Ds kind of contributed to that, but you beat who was in front of you. And now you can say that 100 Ds are going to be decent at Worlds, but we don't know if they can make it past the Swiss. So does VKS, I guess. So, yeah, that should conclude the LTA once for all, and good riddance. We do not want to see this league again. And next year, we will get to see LCS and the CB Law branded back. Good times. And speaking of that other team that struggles in the first couple of seasons and then managed to scale up and become dominant, Gen G. Yeah. Congratulations, Gen G, on becoming the best team in all of Korea all year. From like the 2/3 of the season. And this series, of course, against NLIV Esports was absolutely not even close. Well, it was a close-ish 4-game series. The LTA finals that I mentioned was a not so great 4-game series, and it was like Flag was beating the crap out of BKS. With that one game interception, of course, when Inspire did not play well. This was a kind of close-ish game that could have gone 5 games. It would have been for clutch plays after clutch plays. And we like to analyze it, of course, throughout the entire session. So Gen G won in a pretty close-ish game, 21-12 on the first 30 to 34 minutes. It was kind of a back and forth tug of war game until Gen G opened up their books and dominated and beating them, of course. 9-1-11. I know, weird scoreline, but 9-1-11 for Ruler. He was popping off, of course. Dora with 12 assists, of course. Cannon, Chovy, Keen, all played their part. It was a brilliant performance by Gen G to dominate game 1. Game number 2. Thank you all for watching. Almost a 40-minute game in which Gen G won that 24-15. It was another tight game, of course, on nearly a 40-minute mark. It was a scaling game, of course. Viper did his best. With 5-3-7, and so did Zika 5-5-4. But once against the Ruler show, 10-3-8. Dora with 20 assists, by the way. He was also brilliant. Chovy with 11 assists, of course. Cannon with 12. Any assist numbers is not much, but 10, 3, and 8 for Ruler. He was on a heater in this finals. Game 3 was the only Hana Live Esports win, of course. And I'll spoil the ending, of course, because it was a 29-minute game, and Hana Live Esports just fisted Genji. Just literally fisted Genji. There was no hope. And once, the bitch pick of Smolder comes in, and he gets 235 sacks, game over. 7-11, dominant series. Zeka 9-0-8 with Silas. He was betting on Silas, by the way. Ruler did something, but he did not do much. Chovy, not much. And Doro did not do much. And then we get to game 4. And it was such a close game. It was such a tight one. 42 minutes. Kills are even and all kinds of stuff. Dragons are even. All these stuff are so minutely close. And unlike Packers and Cowboys, which sadly ended a tie, there has to be only one winner. And Ruler has to be the one to be the winner. 9-1-4. 9-1-4 on this Zaya, and he was popping the hell off. Dora did his part, of course, 9 assists, of course, with the Blitzcrank, 12 assists with Jovi, but this was all Ruler. This was literally the Ruler series. And he deserved MVP, of course. And if we put that in a summary case, we put that in the entire summary. Ruler finished with a 34, 10, and 25, a 5.9 KDA. This guy was not so great against in JDG last year. He was never the same Ruler from JDG last year. For Genji to take a chance to bring Ruler back in the LCK, and for him to pull off in the one game that matters so much, and by the way, this game was on national television in front of millions of Korean fans worldwide watching this performance. It is amazing. It is an amazing performance by Ruler, and it's not a legacy performance, of course. Of course, you have to perform in Worlds. That's the main thing. But in a matchup that is so important for them, against a team that beaten them last year in the LCK finals, and for him to pull this off, what a job by Ruler, and he deserved MVP. And Genji finally get their vengeance and finally get their vindication of becoming the best LCK team this year. Unlike esports, dominating the first quarter of this whole thing, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Genji dominates Korea, dominates this entire split, and becoming the greatest ever team in LCK. Not the greatest team in LCK, but probably the greatest LCK team this year. Now, the question is, can they win Worlds? That's been the one question that has been plaguing on everybody's minds. Can Genji with this team can win Worlds? They have won MSI again, they have won EWC, they have won LCK. Now, can you win Worlds? And if you do that, I know many narratives will be like, Chovy winning Worlds, it doesn't matter, Faker and all kind of stuff. I want Genji to win Worlds. And I would be wrong if that happens. If they lose to T1 and T1 plays great, so be it. But I think everybody wants Genji to win Worlds. Chovy wants to win Worlds. Ruler wants to win Worlds. Doro as a rookie could win Worlds. Like, as a rookie? What? I've never seen a rookie perform this well since Faker way back when. So, we'll find out, of course, in a couple of days or a couple of, weeks. But congratulations, Genji, on becoming the best LCK team this year. And you deserve some flowers, including me. And speaking of a team that started slow, not doing well, and then scale up when it matters most, G2 Esports. Now, before we get down there, I will do two things. Spoiler alert, this series was not even close. Not even close, man. Not even close. The second of the, I wanted to talk about G2 more. G2 Esports, unlike my Man United football team, just showcase what patience and time and development can do with this squad. Like when Genji, when they made this entire squad with Skumon and Labrov, many people thought it was like, hey, they needed to do it to improve their performance internationally. And unfortunately, they did not get to international performances. They did not. One Winter, it was Morley K Corp, who did well in Winter, of course. And then everyone expected them to win against Koi and they did not win against Koi. In fact, G2 were got favored in 2 of their finals, and they did not do well in both of them. And then MSI was an absolute disaster by their own standards. Like, they nearly lost to Furia. Like, Furia. Jesus Christ. Like, that's disgusting, man. And they did not do well in MSI. Plain and simple. And losing to Flyquest in the lower bracket finals on Independence Day on July the 4th. Well, if you're American, you're happy. But if you're European, you just feel pain. Absolute pain that you lost to pretty much North America at this point. So yeah, many people, including myself, were criticizing G2. And not because of the performance, but because of the way they've been playing all year. Labrov not doing well, Skimon being a rookie, we give him a pass, but not doing well. Hansama being the only consistent, Caps just not so great. Broken Blade being not much. And Dylan Falco getting questioned so many times with his drafting and skills and all kind of stuff. And you're thinking to yourself, well, that's it. G2 are not looking great, and LEC. Is this going to be K Corp or Koi winning it all? Or maybe throw Fnatic, of course. So many people, including myself, thinking that G2 are just not good enough to win LEC summer. They're just not good enough to win LEC summer. Well, heed my words, ladies and gentlemen. This is the G2 Vengeance split. And boy, oh boy, they're just taking names and making them their dog. They dominate summer season, albeit it's a weird format, but they dominate summer season. They dominate playoffs. And on this finals day, they dominate MKOI. This series was not even close. It was not even close. I watched the series. It was a blowout. It was an absolute blowout from minute 1 to minute 0. And the person that is responsible for this blowout, well, let's look at the games. Let's see who's responsible for it. 32-37. It was a pretty tightish game, of course, by G2 standards, in which it's like, it was a kind of close one. Koi was doing something. They're getting, stopping the Jack and Drake, but, 6-0-10 on Skuma on Wukong. Pretty instrumental, of course. Hansama being solid 5-1-10, of course, on the Zaya. And G2 just blow this whole game wide open in game 1. Game 2 was a weird, interesting comp for G2. G2 was having 2 players that can do damage, and most of them tanks. And you're thinking to yourself, hey, Koi, you can just kill one of the damage dealers, and I think G2 will be weak. And they say, yeah, perfect, good, woo, we can kill them. And they did. They just targeted Sivir over and over. They got scaling on the Zeri. You're thinking to yourself, okay, yeah, this game is over. I mean, even JoJo with Orianna's great, and you got Cassante. This game is over. Yeah, G2 wins, right? Oh, wait. G2 wins. Because 9-11 on Skewmon with Jarvan. He was a difference maker. 7-2-7 on the Sivir, scaled out of his mind. LeBron with 15 assists. He was not bad as well in this game. And Counts with 11 assists. He was a pedestrian throughout the entire series, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter when these 2 criticized players balled out in this series. And Hansama, of course, being consistent. But when you got these 2 players that have been heavily criticized throughout the entire year, balling out in the finals, it's like, I don't know, man. Koi, I just don't have a good feeling in this finals. I still don't feel like it's not your day. It's just not your day. Even with the Spanish crowd, even with everything going through, even you beating the crap out of Fnatic, it was just not your day. And game 3 was kind of pretty much the nail in the coffin. Just literally the nail in the coffin. As we can see, it was not even close. 15-3. The game was over around 28 minutes. Yes, Broken Blade set was okay-ish, but never done much. Caps was okay, but it was the Hansama, Caitlyn Karma lane that just, once it gets going, it cannot be stopped. 6-0-3 and a 3-0-11 on the assist. 3 deaths, all on the top side. Skewmon with 7 assists on the Volley Bear. Yeah, the Volley Bear. And unfortunately for, Jojo Pin did okay, but it was over. It was never a chance. It was 28-23. The game was over. G2 win another title. They're 17th in their history. 17, Jesus Christ. And Skewmon, who've been criticized the entire year, although being a rookie, but being heavily criticized, wearing the G2 shirt with all the pride and the history and all kinds of stuff. And unfortunately, he did not do well, of course. He was pretty much the culprit in most of their losses, especially MSI, of course. He was named MVP, and he rightly deserved MVP. 16 to 28, 22 KDA. This entire series. Like, not even Koi cannot even manage to get two. Merwin was the closest one ever. Like, Jesus. Like, Caps, like, look at Caps. Caps were having an off day, and he still outperformed the rest of MCoy. Like, that is just no. That's not a close series. But you got to give Skumon and Lebrov their flowers. The two new players that comes in, being heavily criticized, step the F up. And you have to save your G2. You're going into the Worlds with pretty much all the confidence in the world. Now, the only way you can get vindication, of course, is to just trying to get out of Swiss stage. Which, by the way, G2 have not made it out of Swiss stage to 2020. And if you want to go back to post-COVID, 2019 when they made the finals. So G2 have not made it past the group stage / the Swiss stage in 5 years. And for Caps and for G2, that is not good enough. That is not good enough for a regional team and for a team like G2 and for a region like LEC that has been having 3 different champions, which if you are one diversity, great. Diversity is great. And unfortunately, you only have one of their champions to not make it through. And now you send Fnatic of all teams, and I don't have a good feeling about Fnatic, nor, of course, MCoy, who are fine, but I just don't see them put on the table. This is now G2's chance to perform well at Worlds. With Skumon having a good performance, with Lebrov having a good performance, I beat in the LEC, but G2 summer was incredible. G2 summer was the performance of playing the long game, scaling out of their minds, and then deliver when it matters the most. And you gotta give Rahman credit. You gotta give Dylan Falco credit. They were patient. They stick with their guns, and it paid off. And congratulations to G2 winning another title. It was not even close, to be honest. And unfortunately for MCoy, not even the Madrid crowd even helped you. And I think you are flat today. They look flat throughout the entire finals. So yeah. Anyways, that concludes the LEC, and I believe that concludes all the leagues. So, of course, we have to go through all the teams that are so long not in this run towards Wars until next year. But first, 2 pieces of news. One ugly one, one pretty one. Let's go with the ugly one. And unfortunately for Common Corp, this entire weekend has been absolutely worse. You did not go to Worlds. You are getting criticized by all the fans. And your boy Apples are getting investigated for professional conduct. Now, the investigation was initiated this morning, of course, by Common Corp, and it says that since the elimination of the LEC and qualification, assistant coach Apples has been accused by numerous fans of highly inappropriate behavior. With the club's reputation at stake, Common Corp launched an internal investigation on Sunday and announced the immediate suspension of the assistant coach pending the investigation's outcome. And you can see that all in France. Now, accusations circulating on social media take several forms, but multiple testimonies from fans allege that Apples engaged in inappropriate exchanges with female supporters of the organizations, attempted to leverage his status to seduce them. Yeah, this is not looking good. This is not looking good, brother. Screenshots, which, let's be honest, I am not going to show you the screenshots, man. I'm just going to do word of mouth. You can just find it right here, of course. Appeared to show the assistant coach leaking scream information to fans and making unwanted sexual advances that left one of them feeling uncomfortable. He is also accused of pressuring individuals into silence in order to protect his career. Like, no, he's cooked. He is cooked. I mean, listen. You know the saying, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. Well, his name is perfectly aligned with this whole thing because he's spoiling the entire weekend of K Corp. What was supposed to be a weekend of first time in organization history to make it to Worlds after being the first finalist in a long time, making to an international finals. It was supposed to be an incredible weekend for K Corp, and now it goes from bad to worse to ugly in just a couple of hours. Jesus Christ, this organization needs fixing. I mean, I did a video for you, man. I did a whole video dedicated to the whole thing. But now, I just don't know if you're my favorite anymore. I just don't. from your fan base to your performances to this. I just can't. I just can't. Now, beyond these claims further to less sustained allegations of service, Zero Tenacity owner Heber Rose has accused Apples of match fixing, while former professional player Jack Septra, who by the way was really good at casting, by the way, he was pretty on the casting, with him and Finn, who by the way is now retired Finn. So I would like to see more just Septra and of course Finn doing the casting work this year with Yankos. I just love Yankos, of course. He accused, of course, Apples of exploiting his naivety to undermine his career opportunities during the offseason. This is not looking good. This is not looking good. Now, Kamento, the organization's CEO, immediately addressed the situation during a stream this Sunday evening, just 2 days after Carmen Corp's tough loss. He reassured fans by stating Carmen Corp will always stand up for the victims. Kamento revealed that neither he nor Kote, the KC CEO, nor anyone else on the board was aware of the allegations, but acknowledged that some individuals within the organization had prior knowledge. Depending on the results of the investigations, there will be consequences. I realize there are many things that need to change, and there will be some sorting out, he said candidly. Kamento also admitted that the background checks should have been much more thorough to prevent such a situation. Dude, this is what happens when you, the bad actor, are running esports like this. Like, you just let bad actors even come in. Now, he emphasized his commitment to supporting anyone affected, urging victims to come forward. If you are a victim, never hesitate to talk to me. I will always defend you 100%. These are serious and important matters. Kamento concluded with an open call for evidence and dialogue. If anyone has evidence of anything, send me a message if you have the strength. I will always be there to learn more and help. How many times that happened? Few and far between. The club intends to make amends and punish those accused. This is a crisis the club would have preferred to avoid, especially after already facing heavy criticism regarding rumors about team management during the summer split. Oh boy. Oh my goodness gracious. This is literally the worst weekend of Carmen Corp's entire career. And it's just their second year in LEC. This is even worse than their first initial splits. And yes, let's be honest, their first initial splits was a disaster. But listen, nobody was expecting Carmen Corp to just do anything much. But then again, you have the Carmen Corp with the fan bases and all that kind of stuff. And you thought they would do well in the first year, and it was a disaster. And then next year, they were so great. And slowly but surely, everything kind of fall apart. The wall has been torn down brick by brick, piece by piece, until there's like nothing left. And now your reputation is gone down with the mud, with this in your face. No, no. If I were Kamento, or pretty much a conscious person, would just take this and just suspend Apples immediately. Do not want him as coach anymore. Do not even be in the organization anymore. And the people that are involved in it and the people that in there, get the hell out. Get the freaking hell out. And I think if you're Kamento right now, this is on you. This is on you. Because you are running an organization. You are running an esports organization that is more passionate, that is more diverse than anything else. And by the way, I will give you the good part, of course, that you are involved in another esports event that is not world, but will be involved, of course. But this is literally on you. This is literally on you. You're in charge of all of this. You're in charge of all the asylums, all the craziness, all the criticism that come out at you, and this is the price you pay. Heavy is the crown, like Linkin Park said. So this is all on you. Literally all on you. And unfortunately, this whole mess, this whole situation, this entire year of the downfall is all on you. And right now, boy, you just need a little organization change. Your entire culture needs to change. Yes, Akeem. Culture. Culture. I hope somebody will translate it to France and tell me what culture means. But that is what needs to change. This entire culture is disgusting. It is vile for them, and it's affecting not only the team, the players, but also the fans. Even the sensible fans to know how bad it is. For having your coach to do that disgusts me, even to myself. Even to myself. And by the way, this is not the first time we see someone making like any gestures or doing something bad for female. Of course, Shanks and Whippo, players, of course, but they were involved as well, and it disgusts me, of course. I mean, this is land of esports, of course. Crazy things happen, but dude, you need to get your crap together. This entire organization, K Corp, need to get the crap together. Otherwise, you're not only losing fan bases, you're losing the credibility of your entire organization and your entire self. You need to get this thing together, and you need to suspend Apples and pretty much clean this whole thing up. I am glad that this Common Corp team did not make it to Worlds, because if they do, they would have more rabid fan bases and more, criticism that come into your way. So you know what? I'm glad that they're out of Worlds. If they would have done that, it would be an absolute crap store. And listen, let's be honest. If Common Corp would have made it to Worlds, this whole entire thing would never be in light. If Common Corp go to Worlds, this entire thing would never be in light. But because it happened, they decided, yep, do that, pull the trigger. It's just a stinking fan base, man. It's a disgusting fan base, and I cannot believe I make a video about you guys. I cannot believe it. Screw them. Anyways, happier notes, because sadly, K Corp will have to clean up their reputation and have to go to Munich to even do the Red Bull League of its own, which will be returned November 29th in Munich at the SAP Center. Of course, G2, T1, Lost Daytonas, and NNO from Berlin will be all involved. Like, this tournament has been going on for 2023, and let's be honest, it has been so incredible. I watched the video, and it was so good. And for so many teams, including T1 and G2, it's going to be a packed schedule, of course. They'll have to play a lot of games internationally. They have to do a lot of things, especially for T1. They have to play like LCK, EWC, Vancouver, Worlds, and all that traveling. But, hey, T1, this is the price you pay for being like the greatest organization in the world and being a marketable team. This is the price you pay, guys. This is literally the price you pay. So, I love this event. This event is always cool. It's a great event. It's a great situation and all kinds of stuff. So, and to have Lost Daytonas, by the way, to have Lost Daytonas and K-12 being involved in this. I mean, they already involved in it last year, of course. They were involved in it last year. But for them to be involved, of course, it's going to be huge. I mean, the numbers will be huge. The event will be huge, of course, especially for, like, this is a post-Worlds tournament, by the way. This is after Worlds. Worlds will have the bigger numbers and all kinds of stuff, all this kind of stuff. But for this to happen, post-Worlds is huge. It's huge. So look forward to number 20. You look forward for like in a couple of minutes, 2 months from now. 2 months from now when we get the whole tournament. Okay, as we're about to creep over midnight on the 29th day of September, it is time for us to say goodbye to the teams that did not make it to Worlds into the World's Death Note. We'd like to say goodbye to Navi, SK Gaming, Lion Gaming, Dignitas, Thunder Talk Gaming, LNG, DN Freaks, Chiefs Esports Club, SoftBank Hawks, RNG, OMG, Disguised Toast, FPX, Team Liquid, DRX, Team WE, Ultra Prime, Heretics, Cloud9, Loud, Bro, BDS, and Noshim Red Force, ADG, Ninja Super Thomas, and Vikings, LGD, Vitality, Pain, GAM, Shopify Rebellion, Giant X, BFK, Fear X, D Plus Kia, Rank Cannons, Weibo Gaming, and Carmine Corp. And ladies and gentlemen, it is officially the 29th day of September, and we'd like to say goodbye to all these teams, and hopefully you'll do well next year. Or maybe not. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now officially 16 days until Worlds. And these are the teams that have made it to the World Championship. As you all know, there's going to be one spot remaining between T1 and IG for that World spot. Gen G, CFO, PSG Talon, G2, Kian Stars, Flyquest, Koi, KT Walter, Hana Life Esports, Team Secret Wales, BLG, T1, AL, 100 Thieves, Top Esports, and Fnatic. And those are the teams that have captured Channel, of course, and are going to Worlds. Now, what are you going to do for the next couple of days, Aki? Well, I will be doing a rank video, of course. We'll be doing a little bit of rank video. As you can see, this is my setup for the next video, of course. We have a road to Worlds, of course, when we get to list all the teams, of course, their journey and all kinds of stuff in the more like narrative sense, of course, based on the teams and all kinds of stuff. So we're just taking your journey of all the teams that are making it to Worlds, and then, of course, we will have a rankings. We'll rank them 1 to 17. I think I know who my number one is, but you have to stay tuned for that. And of course, I will have the list of players that performed at the tournament, ranking them which one, S tier, A tier, all kind of stuff. So that will be for maybe this weekend or maybe this week, depending on schedule and all kind of stuff. Now, we got, of course, the world's music video, of course. I got to do it state of LCS this week, of course. And of course, I'll talk about like the Ruination video about Riot Ruin LCS. So that might be part of that thing as well. And of course, I will have a new name for this entire world's package that's going to come up this week. And of course, the shorts for the 14 days in 14 worlds in 14 days episode is still going on right now. We are almost at the end, and maybe it might be coming out this week. Maybe it might be finishing this week. So stay tuned for your TikToks and your YouTube shorts, which is getting a lot of numbers, by the way. Getting a lot of numbers. So probably the reason why I get the 40 subscribers is because of all the shorts. Attention spans these days. But it is what it is. So thank you each and everybody all for doing all the shorts, watching the videos, talking, engaging, and all kind of stuff. And because of you, we have made history to making 40 subscribers. I made history with 40 subscribers. Keep doing it until I got nothing left, until League of Legends is just nothing much great, and I'll be doing Valorant or something. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has been Capturing China. I want to thank each and everybody for watching this video. I would like to thank every single person who's been engaging in all kinds of stuff. And until then, we would like to see you all later for more League of Legends stuff. Subscribe to this channel, like the video, do all the kind of stuff. And I will see you all next time. On behalf of myself, Mackie here, saying